What is up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We are back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you get actionable ideas, insight, and inspiration to turn your real estate career into a life of freedom. We've got a couple of awesome guests with us today. We are talking about how they built a $40 million volume team in just a year and what they're on track to do, which is something like over 400 deals. It's an absolutely insane story. So we're going to get into that, and we'll bring them in a second. First of all, thank you for joining us here on Facebook Live. If you are, make sure to comment and bring questions because we'll bring them to the guys as we go. But first of all, the junior grandmaster himself, who will not be contained.
No.
I know you will not. You're already in rare form today, so I know I'm in for it. My certification for Greg wrangling is probably seriously at risk in this particular episode. So, Greg, how are you today?
Oh my God, man! I do believe that you and I are two of the most blessed human beings on planet Earth, and this is why. Jason Northcutt, he just sent us this incredible message earlier today that touched both you and I very, very deeply. He said that he had been struggling his first year. He had been listening to our show for this first year of his career, and this week I think marks his first full year in the business. But he didn't do very well. He was doing pretty poorly, and it was all because of he did it to himself. But then he got his signature the other day, and he is going to be working with a developer. They are signed a $15 million project that he is going to be doing and 120 lots that he is going to be selling. And he said, thanks to both Matt and myself for pushing him, giving him the right tools to keep going. Dude, we are so blessed to have folks like that are watching our show, picking up the information we're laying down, and we are humbled and honored to be there as some small little part of your guys' success, because you ultimately are your success. You're the reason that you get what you want. Matt and I just happen to provide the right tool or just some inspiration at the right time, and we are honored for that. I have another gal, Lily. She's on the peninsula. I had a conversation with her this morning, the exact same kind of conversation, that when she's having a down day, Matt, she either goes and watches a podcast or she goes and watches me bounce around like an idiot doing my live prospecting. But the inspiration that we provide is humbling. And guys, please share those stories with us. It really makes our day to see you guys succeed. And ultimately, that's why we do the podcast, right, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that was a much better, softer Greg rant than I was expecting. So many times it's profanity laced and vitriolic. Anyway, so this is much better. I like this. This is it's like the old Sears ads. We got the softer side of Greg today. This is nice. Very pleasant. It's very pleasant. I like it. All right. So let's bring in our guests, Scott and Jeremy from the Trembley group out in Myrtle Beach. So first of all, Jeremy and Scott, welcome.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Awesome, guys. So Scott, let's start with you. So catch us up a little bit. Just give us the brief overview of what your team is, kind of where you guys service, and how you got here a little bit.
Yeah. So Jeremy and I both combined experience, been in the business for about, me, 18, 19 years, Jeremy about 10, 11. It's about 30 years combined experience. Just kind of came together and learned a lot about the real estate business, know what goes on, what doesn't, and wanted to build something really, really special with a culture that was kind of second to none. So we believe in people, innovation, and marketing. Right now we have 10 buyers agents. We have actually 3 client care specialists, 1 assistant to them, which they're the ISAs. We've got a marketing director, marketing intern, transaction coordinator, and a couple other folks that help us on the blog, and we have a full-time blogger. But we've got an incredible system in terms of, we get in contact with all of our incoming leads within a minute, and our client care specialists do, and they set appointments for all of our kind of rotate it. We have a competitive scale. First person in the office gets first leads. But really.
Wow.
Let me tell you.
Do you offer a couch? Do you offer a couch for sleeping purposes for those who show up at like 5 a.m.?
Like if you took the average time in office, it went down by like an hour and a half or something. It was awesome.
Are you kidding?
Unbelievable. So So we role play at 8 o'clock in the morning. Everybody's on the phones at 8:20. But what we found was, we know the importance of role playing, right? We know that. But what we found was we have an incredibly accountable environment. But we were getting folks that were accountable, but not to the level that we wanted. So all we did was up the ante. We have 2 teams of 5 agents. We have a team lead on the client care specialist side for both. And the first 2 players that are in the office get the first 2 leads on each team. And just like Jeremy said, we had the average time to office about 8:45 or so, 8:45 to 9ish, and we had about half the team role play. And now the average time in the office is about 7:35. Wow. So these guys are like tackling each other on the way in the door trying to get in.
It's exactly
awesome.
what I do. I
got a picture on my phone of one of the agents. He was the first one here that day, and he was like this outside the front.
Oh yeah. They're like, it's a freaking sprint, coming in. Get out of my way, Yeah, it's awesome.
You guys are literally have built the antidote to all real estate offices' problems. If you guys can that and resell that, you're gonna be bajillionaires. Because every major brokerage would be like, we need 2,000 tons of that, please, because we need to spice up our agents. Because good lord, man, most people come in like a hungover sailor, all like wobbling, like, oh fuck, I gotta do calls again. But you guys are they're sprinting in. That is epically awesome. How did you do that? How did you create that culture? Tell me. I have my Hobbit pad ready. I am taking notes.
Nice. Well, I tell you one thing that here's one thing that we do really, really different here, and this is going to sound really funny because we're all in the sales business, is we actually, guys, train sales. I mean, we are literally, everybody in our organization is 100% dialed in, and they are a sales professional, and that skill set matters. And so skill set matters along with accountability. So we just literally, from day one, I meet with all of our agents one-on-one every week, and we also have a sales training meeting on Wednesday. But it's all about accountability. It's a very competitive environment, but it's a very uplifting, and it's a bring value to each other environment. Like, we believe in bringing out the best in each other. And let me tell you something. We have a 0 tolerance level for any kind of drama, any kind of excuses, any kind of negativity. It does not happen in our organization. So as soon as we looked at that going, all right, but and they believed in the skill set side, but we weren't getting everybody 100% balled in. So it's like, all right, let's just change it up a little bit. First person in the office is going to win every day, and we'll give 2 folks the benefit on each team. So now we actually have competing teams, which is really, really cool. But we had a lady, the couple guys were winning, they're getting here at 7:30, and she said, to hell with it, I'm getting there at 7. So and even the agents that were kind of lagging behind, now they're getting here at 8 and 8:15 when they were the couple ones that were doing some good business, but getting here at 9 or 9:15. So it's just slackers. And it's a win though. Mm-hmm. We celebrate it though. Like we're celebrating it. We're excited about it, and of course everybody's winning, so it's good.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool. I have a guy on my team that I want to fly out to you so you can electroshock therapy him to get him into the office before 11. That would be epic. I owe you. Knuckles to you.
That's right. Boom. All right, guys, let's take a quick question. There was one that caught my eye before we went live that I want to cover, and then we'll kind of jump into your guys' story and get a little bit more detail on how you've built what sounds like a very incredible organization. So this is from William Perea. He says, do you automatically send a CMA when you get a request from a home evaluation? And if not, what's your first response to the seller? So Jeremy, why don't we start with you? What's your guys' procedure for handling kind of when an incoming seller lead first comes in?
Very first thing we do is our client care specialist team will call them back, and our average response time is running about 2 minutes, give or take. So the main goal,
you got some work to do. I got you.
Yeah,
I hear you.
Yeah, we're slacking. We are obviously right in line with the industry average of 44 hours or whatever crazy number it is. So main goal there is get them on the phone as fast as possible. It's a people business. I can't find out what's going on with them, what they might be looking to refinance, rehab. They might be just curious. They might be actually looking to sell something. So our plan is just get them on the horn as fast as we can and see how we can best help that customer. Then we go from there. I don't just sit back and trust the computer valuations. If they're looking to sell and they indicate some interest and they have a motivation, then my admin and myself will do a full-blown competitive market analysis for them, and I'll either drop it off in person or send it to them wherever they may be.
Nice. I love the dropping it off in person. So, Greg, what do you have to say about that? What would your response be to an incoming seller lead?
Fuck, I have to follow that? You shitting me? It's like following like a great speech at a wedding. You're like, damn it, I'm going to look stupid no matter what.
Right. First I look at the computer and I stare at it for 10 minutes. Then I go get some coffee. Okay.
Just
so after all that.
Oh, Floyd Mayweather. That's funny shit. So for me that doesn't have an incredibly awesome, well-oiled, killing machine, and I say killing, I mean helpfully walking people through the sales process group. What I will do is I'll get them on the phone. I'll have a conversation with them, just like Jeremy was saying. I'll try to understand what they are looking to do in the shortest amount of time. As soon as Eileen, my team manager, will notify me of it, or whenever I get the email or whatever else, I'll call them as quickly as I can, somewhere in the 44-hour mark, per the industry standard. And then I'll put together, based upon their wants or needs, I'll either set up a time to come out and take a look at their property, or I will put together an RPR, tell them that it is a computerized report, there is no brains behind it, and I'll go, like Jeremy does and Scott does, I will go personally drop it off. I will also drop off a trifold or a full booklet about our team so they can read about it. And then I have a a fix-up, whatever. I mean, forget the name of it exactly. Basically, it's a national averages of repair costs and what your return would be if you did them, so that they could, if they needed to do fix-ups, they could kind of understand what kind of money they would get back, or what they would do or should not do. Drop that off to them, and then we put them on a drip and a phone call cycle, and we stay up with them from that point. So hopefully I looked somewhat good next to that awesome first entry.
Well, and this is the point of bringing that question, which is that nobody out of everyone here sends a CMA just cold to someone just because they responded to a home valuation. Mm-hmm. So everything is get them on the phone.
Yes.
The point there too, Matt, is and I think what this caller might be getting, or this question might be getting at, is if you just sit back and hope that somebody's going to contact you, how does hope work as a strategy in real estate?
No, bad.
Not good.
It's a very low-paying strategy. Let's put it that way.
There you go. Low results.
Right, so let's take a second here, and guys, tell us, like you guys are out there in Myrtle Beach, and so if you're listening to this, first of all, keep them in mind for referrals, number one, and number two, are you guys looking for additional salespeople to join your team?
Yeah, so we're always recruiting, and we look at it this way: we're always looking for that next special person. Yeah. So we do, but I'm always recruiting. Yeah, absolutely. And then we're all, we bring on we want winners, and our average when we finish up 2017, right? This is a pretty powerful number here. Our agents will do on the average 38 to 40 transactions each.
Wow,
that's unheard of. That's unheard of at a company. It's unheard of. I've got agents, guys, that literally before they met us were at other brokerages. Two of them, for example, sold 4 homes each for the entire year 2015. And their first 12 months with us, which will run through the end of this month, they will both do 32 to 34 transactions. But in their first full year, in 2017, these two agents that had no idea, they didn't even know what the word sales meant, well, they'll both do 48 to 50 transactions each with us in their first full year with us.
Wow. Matt?
Yeah.
Matt, because you get to make a move, I get to make a move. Gentlemen, I'm on the next plane. I'm coming to you. I'm going to South Carolina.
Myrtle Beach it is.
Myrtle Beach, baby. Myrtle Beach
right. Good luck. Good luck holding Greg accountable to show up at the office at 7:20 in the morning. Yes, I'm just saying. Good luck to you guys. That's all.
I just want to say too that there about one of Greg's transactions for 5 of our transactions, over in San Francisco. Yeah. I don't even know how you afford a house.
I was gonna say, Greg, you want to go? Do you want to sell some $250,000 for 4.32s?
I just checked my travel plans and they have been revoked. Yeah. My apologies.
That's right.
There's a difference.
Anyway, all right. So, guys, for us, as far as what we've got going on, guys, go check out rockstarprospecting.com. That class starts on Monday, so you can still sign up for that through the weekend. We sent out all the details to the guys that are signed up already, but guys, there's still time to sign up for that. That is our course on exactly how to get your butt in the chair, onto a dialer, and how to make those calls, which I'm sure you guys do, and we'll dive into that, what you guys are doing for prospecting. But this is the engine of Greg's business. I mean, this is how you take $1 million listings, Greg. So we're going to teach people exactly how to do that. So that starts on Monday.
I got something to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, guys, if you guys like what this show is, please share it onto your news feed. Share it to your broker. Take this information and take it out to the marketing manager of your brokerage, guys. When you guys are listening to this stuff, help us spread the show so that we can have more amazing guests like Jeremy and Scott on the show, so we can bring more content to you guys for free. We would love that opportunity. So just kind of keep it noodling in the back of your head if you're watching it live or in the replay. Share us. tell your managers about us, let us get in front of more eyeballs. So
That's right.
there's a very selfless promotion.
That's right. All right. Well, Jeremy, let's go back to you and tell me kind of how you came into the picture. Obviously, you've been in real estate for less time than Scott. So Scott started off in the business and has been at it a while. So I want to know kind of from your perspective, how did the partnership part come together?
Well, I was working in development sales at the time, so I've been in, so doing this since about 2007, and I worked for developers, did a little bit of general brokerage, that sort of thing, and I always, I enjoyed development sales, but I always kind of had, wanted to build my own business, wanted to build a team. Wanted to kind of get into the general brokerage side of things. So Scott and I met, we actually had this like epic breakfast at Cracker Barrel that lasted 3 hours. It was pretty funny. We got introduced by a mutual friend who was like, "Oh, you guys have a lot in common." And I mean, I wasn't looking for anything like that. I was certainly thinking to myself, well, I'm not going to start a business anytime soon. So what am I, why am I even meeting this guy? But it was kind of like meeting like an older brother or something. It was really cool. We had a lot in common. We had a lot of alignment with our career paths and everything. So we started putting the plans in place and getting the Trembley group off the ground. And we launched basically February, kind of March. We were finishing up the office and we really got going April of 2016.
That's awesome. So you guys are relatively you're kind of babies in the business, air quotes, but yet you guys are already taking it by storm in your area. What was the attractive aspect of you that you're getting these top quality agents or people that have the qualities to be top agents? How are you bringing them in? What do you look for in quality or aspects of an agent?
You may take that one, or you?
Yeah, go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, you go ahead. You've done more of the recruiting for it.
Yeah. So, funny enough, when I say, all kidding aside, when I say special people, that's what we're looking for. I love the formula of somebody who's been in the business for somewhere between 1 and 3 years that actually has a desire to do something, great, but just can't quite figure it out, which is a lot of the case out there in real estate. Mm-hmm. And so then getting that word out there. But as you can tell, I've had some agents that, one of my biggest strengths is believing so much in somebody, and sometimes that can be a weakness, right? Because you see so much, but do they want it? But I like somebody that's still in the business, is grinding it out, can't quite figure it out, but says, you know what, coach, I want to be coached. Tell me what to do. I'll do it, and I'm gonna follow your plan. So I've taken that approach, and let's see here. I'm gonna count through them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Heck, guys, just about every one of them fits that protocol right there. I've got a lady with us right now. She was a financial officer for a bank, never sold anything. She's awesome, and she's a hammer. This is her. And by the way, she started selling with a developer, and the developer told her she was no good, and they actually parted ways. That she couldn't sell anything.
So she couldn't sell.
And so,
wow. Yeah, what was do you remember what her disc profile was?
Her disc. Yeah. What is Holly?
She was was it an IC or a? Like she had some. I know she had a substantial C.
Yeah,
actually scared
she's
us.
working for a financial institution. She's got to have some C in somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Big,
but she's still people.
She had a big C.
She just had this tenacity, and I remember I was kind of like, I don't know about this, and Scott was like, no, I see something there, and I really believe in her. And she's awesome. We call her the Shark now.
so let me ask you this. That's awesome. Scott, getting back to you on the recruiting side, is there anything that you built into like the recruiting process to kind of test and weed out the people that are not coachable, just in the process itself?
In the process, you mean as in once you bring them in for the first 90 days or so? Is that kind of what you're asking?
No.
He's talking about like up front, right? Yeah, let me take this. It's part of it is the disc profile that we do. Yeah. We require everybody to have a resume. We require everybody to take a disc profile before they can even come in. And then I think there's a substantial part of it that's just the intensity of being in a room with Scott Trembley. Like that will weed it out real quick.
I feel like serious. Scott might be one of those few guys that his disc is like 101 or something like that. It's
on the D.
It's a high D. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're looking for people that can withstand that. Yeah. So I was curious about that because like with Jeff Cohn, the stuff that he does in the flagship office in Omaha, like there are hoops set up. One of them, for example, is they make somebody read a book during the recruiting process and summarize it. If they're not willing to do that, even to skim a book to come up with some takeaways or something like that, that pretty much tells them right away they're not coachable. So I'm always curious, like little indicators, little things, little hoops that people put up that for the recruits to jump through in order to figure out if they're coachable, which I thought that was a great idea. So.
Yeah. So it is the disc. It is the resume. It actually is. It's the follow up.
Yeah.
I love athletes.
Mm-hmm.
I love athletes. And it's got to be. We like to talk about too. What's the busiest they've ever been in there, and we like to understand a little bit more about that. But really, it's just drilling down to see if they can. I kind of want to put a little fear in them too, just to see if they have what it takes to just take it to the next level. And are they going to be? What's big is, are they going to really be coachable?
Yeah.
Are they interested in doing something? Or are they committed? Right. And there is a big difference. Right.
Yeah, there is.
So I'm looking for somebody that's committed to taking their business to another level, to being coachable, and to literally just take a rearview mirror and throw it away. Right. And start from today.
Interesting.
That's really good because a lot of people are just interested in doing real estate. It's a nice little mental masturbation. Like, I feel so good. I'm a nice guy or gal. I'm driving around in a nice car, nice suits. But when it gets down to it, you got to do the grind. You got to get in the trenches. You got to do the calls. You got to do the follow-ups. You got to do, the stuff that nobody sees on HGTV. Which, by the way, anyone watching HGTV, stop doing that. It's bullshit. It's not real.
Yeah.
And the old chicken and the pig breakfast analogy. The chicken was interested because it laid an egg. The pig was committed, for bacon.
Yeah.
So which one are you going to be?
Yeah, absolutely.
We talk about that a lot, actually.
We do, actually. That's really funny you said that. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's funny. It's true. It becomes real all of a sudden.
All right. So tell me, guys, what when you're bringing agents in, what's your main form of lead generation that you're teaching them to execute? And let's start with you, Scott.
Well, here's what's nice. So we have couple things. Is we're always cold calling. We have data. We have huge databases within our company, so they literally can get right into Mojo and immediately start grinding through and making those calls through our databases. Circle prospecting is becoming a bigger part of the cold calling for us. Obviously, as we build the listing side more, we do a lot of circle prospecting. And they're seeing a lot of fruit from that. One thing. So they have lead gen time, right? So 2 hours of prospecting, 8:30 to 10:30, 5 days a week. That's the plan, right? So the lead gen time, an hour, and an hour of follow up. But as you're building the business, those 2 hours are lead gen time, and then your entire afternoon's lead gen time, right? But as some of these agents have been with us now for 6 or 7, 8 months, they're an hour lead gen. Circle prospecting, database calling, an hour follow-up, because in our system, what's truly amazing is we generate about 1,000 leads a month. Our client care specialists call those leads immediately within 1 to 2 minutes, and they're setting appointments, for the agents all the time. So you can imagine, and I'm looking at somewhere around 25 to 30 set appointments per agent a month, and so you can imagine the follow-up that they have to do to get in front of the folks and close transactions.
Damn.
I mean, I was joking about it off air about, or on, I can't remember where I said it, but I mean, packaging this, bottling this up and reselling this, I'm not kidding at all. I will be the first consumer because this is a business. It's not a real estate job. Right, you treat this like an actual corporation. You have set times, there's rewards. You have people doing their specific jobs. People are on the bus in the right seats, and that's why you guys, I think, are just going to blow doors in Myrtle Beach, and I think elsewhere if you guys decide to expand. And I think it's a replicable model. I think you repeat this pretty easily.
Yeah, Jeremy, let me ask you real quick. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's funny you say that. I actually had a broker that was trying to hire me a while back, and and I kept asking, like, what is it about the real estate business so everybody goes wrong? She says, nobody treats it like a business. And that just always stuck with me. And so that's what we do. And Matt, I know you kind of like some of this stuff. We do a lot of Zillow, we use Boomtown and we use Mojo. So the agents have those two things linked together. So Boomtown is huge for us for the accountability for everybody and making sure that nothing falls through the cracks and what we can do with all that. And then, of course, Greg, just like you use, we're big advocates of Mojo. Just love that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of circle prospect and everything.
Yeah.
For sure,
cool.
dude.
So Jeremy, I'm curious about this. So I talked to the guy that runs Utah's #1 team. They'll sell something like 500 deals a year. He's their operations manager, and they said they discontinued their ISA team because the quality of the appointment for what they were paying their ISAs, it made more economic sense to just have their agents make the calls and set their own appointments to where they're accountable. So I'm curious, like they were on the exact same model as you, and they went back to more of a traditional teach the agents to prospect, have the agents set their own appointments. So what have you guys found? Is it like, how are you guys making it profitable to have a whole team of ISAs that are doing all those follow-ups and scheduling the appointments for the agents, and then sending somebody else out on the appointment?
So on a scale of 1 to 10, if I could tell you how much I disagree with what he's doing, it would be a 10. But the key to that is to have the right ISAs, and we've had enough in our experience. We've had some ISAs that have worked, and we've had some that didn't work. We've had some that maybe we didn't set it up the right way, but we have that our client care specialist team is part of our secret sauce. I mean, they are just amazing. So I think you're setting up an agent to fail if they're on an appointment with a client and they get a lead that comes in and they can't follow up with it for 2 hours. It's lost. And
you lose.
So yeah, and so we've seen that. I mean, 100%. We're headed in the direction of having the dedicated client care specialists. I mean, that's our terminology for it instead of ISA, but we're heading in that direction, and I can't imagine going back.
Yeah, I think it's a genius move. I wish, and I actually talked to a bunch of agents in my office. We were all sitting around like it was a Friday, and kind of near the end of the year last year. And I'm like, guys, hypothetically, would you be interested to work for a brokerage that would just set appointments for you, but they would take a 50% split? All you have to do is just not kill the client. They're like, oh yeah, we take that all day long. So, I mean, it's unbelievable. Matt and I've had a debate about this, but I still think I'm right.
Well, Greg, would you get rid of talent?
Fuck no.
You love it, right?
Yeah.
But
that's your favorite thing.
I have this to point out. Greg is a culture of one. So you, Greg, paying an ISA out of your own money to set appointments for you that then you are required to go on, otherwise you don't make your money back that you've paid in. Like that is a very direct one-on-one relationship. So Scott, let's go to you on this question. How is it set up? Because obviously you've got more agents than you have ISAs. How are you setting that relationship up so there's that kind of horizontal accountability? So you have the ISA that genuinely cares about the quality of the appointment they're setting for that agent.
Beautiful question. I'll tell you something right before I answer that question too. You got to have the right ISAs. You got to have the right accountability. You got to have the right people. There's 166 teams on Zillow, by the way, at a broker elite level in the country. We're #1 on conversion from lead to purchase agreement as of 2 weeks ago. They just ran the numbers for us. Here's the deal. Most folks are converting if they're doing a good job on online leads or converting at 2 to 3%.
Yeah.
Right now we're at 7.5, and it's growing. So there's
good Lord, dude.
Yeah. So and that's that's lead to contract. And so here's the deal.
I will say this. Zillow does have, there's a little bit of bias in the stats on that, because Zillow leads nationwide they outperform Google AdWords leads. So when you hear the lead conversion, like 100%. The numbers, they're like 1%, maybe 0.5% sometimes. And if you're good, it'll be 3. That doesn't usually count. That doesn't typically count Zillow leads. But 7.5 is still really freaking good.
Yeah. So you're right. Absolutely. So the client care specialists, they actually have teams of 5, right? So they literally manage each business. They have their team players. They have relationships with each one of the agents. They have the value propositions mapped out right in front of their cubicles or stand-up desk of each agent. They know them like they were their brothers or sisters. They actually also they've done a bomb video with each of the agents. And so whenever they're on the phone setting an appointment for Sharon, As soon as they get off the phone and they're moving that over to Sharon, they send out a bomb video to the client introducing Sharon. So there's a high level of accountability, and they also they have a spreadsheet for all of their team members who they're accountable to me each week, and they're accountable to themselves and the agents to track every lead, where it stands, if it's pre-approved, what's the next step, is it under contract? 0 to 60 days is our hot category, and so we're always looking at how we're moving those to contract. So everything is tracked at a very high level, and they run it like they meet with me. This is how important client care specialist is. They role play 5 days a week, but they meet with me twice a week. And so I'm literally tweaking and training their business and teaching them to be business owners and leaders in their businesses twice a week. And these guys are assassins. I mean, they're awesome.
That's awesome.
Really interesting.
Can I chime in on that for a second?
Insane. Yes, please.
What Scott just left off on there is we train, like he mentioned earlier, we train everything in sales. We actually train sales and leadership. You know, when the clients, like most of the podcasts are focused on, and most of the stuff we talk about is lead generation. You know, that's where everybody's mind is at, because that's probably the most, that's where we spend a lot of our time, or most of our time. But I think what gets lost in that is what to do with the customer when you actually get one. And so when
nobody gets to that point. They're not interested.
They're like, oh my God, I got a customer. Like, now what? How do I screw this up?
Oh, that's so true.
We spend a lot of time going over how to lead the process. I've heard Scott say that 100 times, million times. And the customer is not coming to you for information. They've got that at Zillow. Yeah. They've got that at Realtor.com. They're coming for your advice. They're coming for you to lead them through the process. And I just didn't want that to get lost in what's going on here.
Something that I've laughed about a lot is the fact that, like, I call it, a dog. Agents are dogs, and the car that they're chasing is the client, and they have no freaking clue what to do with the car when they catch it. So I love that you guys are taking that to another level. That's awesome.
Yeah, Greg, you and I were joking around one time about coming up with a product called "I have a listing. Now what the hell do I do?"
Yeah.
Don't worry, nobody would buy it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Everybody's going, I don't have that problem because I don't have a listing, so I clearly don't need that product. Oh my God. I think it was Jay. It was something like Jay Abraham that said. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. But I think Jay Abraham said something to the effect that people don't want to buy, but they do want to be led, which is a great quote that applies to salespeople and consultants everywhere.
And that's the brilliant look at what Jay Abraham done. He's like the $9 billion man, and his entire thing is treat your customers so well that they don't go anywhere else, and they're going to refer you a ton of business.
Yeah,
yeah. That's his whole thing.
But
go ahead, Scott.
Let me interject something here. If you look behind Jeremy there, it says the most trusted leaders, right? That is so important. And I'll tell you this. One of the reasons why we started the company and the vision of it is because we know that in the industry and in sales in general, in the real estate industry, there's very few leaders. And teaching these guys how to really, if you go, like lots of times we go around in our sales meeting and we'll start off with their success stories of the past week. And then occasionally I'll ask them, like every other week, what has really, really impacted you the most here and what's changed in your life and your business? A lot of them will say, I actually run a business now, and they're leading the process. And so our agents will go on 15 appointments and write 4 to 5 contracts and take a listing or two. Most agents out there, they might go on 40 appointments during the month and have no results, right? They're the agents out there, they're busy. You talk to them at the start of the week and end of the week. How'd your week go? Oh, it's great. I was busy. I talked to so-and-so. What's the result? Well, I didn't close anything. Yep. Because they're just on that treadmill that never stops, and they don't have a plan, and they don't know what to do with the business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they don't lead it, and they just chase the business. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it really is. People they love to stay busy, but they aren't staying productive.
Oh yeah.
Because they feel good and justified. Well, I did my calls. Well, what, did you get any leads? Nope. How many calls did you do?
Yep.
2.
Yep.
What the hell did you do the rest of the day? I studied my scripts. You're like, damn it.
Yeah.
No.
Oh my God.
That's awesome. I think you already narrowed it down to about 5% of agents, just them studying their scripts. That already eliminated the other 90%. The other 90% are on YouTube. Sorry, Greg.
Hey.
Not you. I mean, the agent that you walked by that one day who's
Yeah, here. So guys, here's just the background on this one. There's this agent. She was a younger agent in our brokerage, and she turned to me. She said, "Greg, how do I get more leads?" And I said, "Well, tell me what you're doing now for lead gen. Are you doing calls, doors, networking? Are you doing social media? Blended it?" And she's like, "Well, I'm watching YouTube." Well, okay. So you're watching YouTube. What else are you doing? No, I'm just watching YouTube. Oh my God! Please leave.
Yeah.
Please leave.
It's like kill me. So Scott, tell me a little bit more about the skills training aspect of it. So you guys are role playing, which is the script part of the skill set. How are you training the other parts of the skill set, the leadership through the sales process, the listing consultation, for example? Like, when does that take place? Is it scheduled out? Is it regimented? Is it regular? Like, how are you training people just on the other skill set of being an agent?
Yeah, great question. We literally train every week. It's an accountable meeting from 10:30 to 12, right? So everybody has to be there. And every week we work through the process of what it takes to, make that first call, to set that appointment, to get the pre-approval set, right? To go on the appointments, to make those showings. What do you do with the folks when you first meet them? Obviously, they're getting their buyer's agency signed. We train on how to do that, how to overcome those objections. We train on how to only show a certain amount of houses, how to literally, before you leave every house, how to have a plan, if it's eliminated, if it's on the choice list, or if they're buying it, that's the goal. So every part of the process, and then where you go from there, how to get it to the transaction side. We train on our transaction coordinator handles home inspections and everything, but we train on the transitions there. It's literally, we never stop training. And we train so much on negotiations, how to bring powerful offers, how to make sure you have strong offers, strong escrows. We're leading every bit of the process, and we continuously go back to the basics. And the basics are, you got to have exact appointments all the time. It's funny, you got agents like, "Oh, I got the Smith coming in town next week. They're supposed to call me on Wednesday." I'm like, "Well, tell me how that's going to work out for you on Thursday," right? Or Wednesday afternoon.
That's right.
So no, it's like they're coming in town Tuesday at 10. They're meeting me here at the office. I'm confirming the appointment, over the weekend and probably again on Monday, and answering any more questions. I've actually already got them in our CRM system. They've been looking at listings. We've got them pre-approved. So exact appointments, pre-approvals, and they're in writing, committed to them, working with them on the buyer's agent side. So they got to have buyer's agency, they got to have exact appointments, and they got to have pre-approvals. So
yeah, love it.
That's the buy-in side. And on the listing side, Jeremy handles the training on the listing side.
Jeremy, how about you?
What was that? I blacked out. No, I'm just kidding.
How are you training the skill set?
What I was going to say with just to finish up what Scott's saying is that entire thing, we mapped out the perfect sale early on, and we said, okay, what are the different points that they have to hit? How do we remove fear at each one of these points so that they can move right down the road and be the leader in the process? Selling a home, there's only 5 things that people are looking for when they're buying a home. It's emotion backed by logic. The entire thing is built on them understanding the emotions and the logic of that customer better than anybody. That's what allows you to get a buyer's agency to only show 3 or 4 homes, because you truly understand, and to walk them through that process better than anybody and be a leader. So just wanted to add that tidbit. But
I love that.
Yeah, people buy with their hearts and they confirm it with their minds.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I love that you guys have mapped out the process and really thought in depth on where the fear points are. And I'm assuming you're referring to the agent, right? The points where the agent has fear. Yeah. I mean, you can do the same thing for the client too, which is amazing. But yeah, I mean, to map out every part of the process where the agent has fear. And Scott, you can go in deeper on this. But so you mentioned just the idea of like not confirming the appointment. Like, that is a fear. It goes back to fear of picking up the phone, making somebody uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to address that fear. Otherwise, the appointment doesn't get locked in, therefore it's nebulous and vague, and all of a sudden there is no appointment, right?
Yeah. Well, I tell you, it's to that point, Jeremy, I'll tell you, we talk so much about overcoming your fears. I mean, everybody, the majority of the world lives, you have the courageous side of the brain and the fearful side of the brain, and most people live on the fearful side. So we work all from the courageous. I mean, heck, lots of times, we'll play Jaws or Rocky or something before a sales meeting. I'm doing push-ups in the sales meeting. I mean, these guys we're overcome. We have fun.
He's not
we
kidding.
overcome fears.
I believe it.
Yeah, for sure. But we're literally always talking about overcoming fears and leading the process. And how do you do that, right? What does it look like? And we, in role playing throughout the meetings and going through that perfect sell, finding out where people are stuck, right? And what we can do. And it's interesting. We bring in the whole team too and understand all of their success habits. And all the agents continue to start pulling from what's working for others because they feel really, really a part of the team. Like, oh my God, if Mindy can do it, I can do it,
Yeah.
And then we just crush. We remove all fears and all barriers and keep a very, very powerful mindset and walk them through everything that can and will happen. And they get out there and they own the business. It's pretty impressive.
That is awesome. I think that's what a lot of the times I do free coaching on Monday through Thursday for agents around the country that's booked out until April of 2018. 90% of the time, I'm going to go with 100% of the time, there's some sort of a defeating mindset that is there because people are fearful of something that someone has said to them, that they have impose a self-limiting belief upon themselves based upon their past behaviors. And it's really interesting how many people are affected by this. And it's almost every single person in some way, shape, or form constantly barrages their internal brain with negative thoughts.
Unbelievable.
And then it manifests into your life outside of your brain, which then takes your lifestyle from here to here, and you can't figure out what the hell happened when it's really just right up in here. As soon as people get that, and they can work on it. Like you guys are working with your agents, and your agents are flourishing because you're giving them positive feedback. There are members of, I'm not going to be very specific. There are people that I know that are in this business that are demeaning on an epic level to everyone around them, and they're in management positions in different organizations. And you watch them, you're like, no wonder why no one wants to show up to your office meeting. You suck. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, speaking of like leadership, and I'm curious just on the recruiting side of things, how are you attracting and who are the people that are kind of coming into you? Are they still predominantly coming in through referrals from your existing team? Are you looking at the people that are on like the other side of the deals? How are you initially meeting the people that you're then leading them through that recruiting and training process?
Yeah, good question. So really, the first goal was to get 10 agents, and we just worked our way through that with just some folks that we thought a lot about and just kind of did a little research on, and also some folks that we know. Now so we got to that point. We wanted to get the foundation in place, right? And so now there's a next level of recruiting going on, and so that is through the team. That is also through, once again, that 1 to 3 year agent, right? And that's and just because there's so many 1 to 3 year agents that just can't figure it out, right? And so it's getting a list of them and starting to get them. I got like 5 of them right now that want to work with. But I look at it as really that next one special person. So we are not about hanging licenses just to hang them. I've got I'm all about producers, right? And so we will put them through the process. But it's that 1 to 3 years. Now, there's an occasion that we'll bring on somebody brand new if they have a competitive background, competitive spirit, have been into sales, and just have that tenacity. We just hired one new guy, so we just hired our 11th, and he's just an athlete. He's like, I'm going to work around the clock, whatever you say, put me in, coach, and he's also a good friend of one of the guys that's really crushing it with us. So, it's just. But with when you create the environment and the culture and the winning culture, and you actually have fun doing it, that we have, the word spreads quickly. We also do videos of all of our agent success stories, and so we get those videos out to social media and a lot of different arenas in our market. It shows continuous success stories of I'll give you an example. Speaking of mindset, you'll love this. One of my ladies that works with us, her previous broker, she's a single mom, told her never to talk to her clients about being a mom or her daughter.
What?
So that's forbidding, to never do that. And if you have to pick up your daughter or something, you can't tell your clients you're picking up your daughter. And she goes,
it's unprofessional.
Scott, what do you think about that? Oh, yeah, unprofessional. Yeah.
What?
And she said, She said, she goes, what do you think about that? And I said, are you freaking kidding me? I said, here's what I want you to do. Yeah, I said, I want you to tell every client that you're the most powerful mom ever. Your daughter she's the most beautiful thing ever. You can't wait to pick her up at 3:00. That's why we're meeting at 12:00. I'm getting ready to change your lives today because I'm the best darn real estate agent out there. And I'm also the best mom. So I'm sure you have kids. Tell me about your kids, right? And she was like, oh my God, this is so refreshing. And this is a lady that sold 4 homes and she's going to do 50 this year. Talking about mindset changing. Yeah. Wow. She's powerful. Yeah.
It really is. It's unbelievable. I mean, and the more I talk to agents out there and what their brokers tell them, it's ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous. Right. It makes no sense whatsoever. Help me out with this, guys. I mean, where does this come from? I mean, why would a broker not want someone to be a human? They want just like a robot of a realtor? Nobody wants just to be sold to. They want to be involved with someone that's like them.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, anyone who's listening, they don't understand marketing at all.
Yeah, anyone who's listening to this right now, guys, on the replay, or if you're listening to it live, if someone's telling you not to be who your true self is, please disregard that individual and do a 180-degree turn and go 1,000 miles an hour the other direction, because you have to be true to yourself, you have to be true to your experiences, because other people are going to relate to you. Therefore, you're going to be they're going to be drawn to you because they can have the same story, the war stories that you have. So be true to yourself.
Scott's got a pretty inspiring story himself, so it's one of those things. We're really real around here.
Yeah. Good. Well, and I'll tell you what, I'll share that with you real quickly. By the way, so I had so first of all, let me back up for a second. What's missing in the industry, guys, is leadership. Mm-hmm. People just don't understand leadership. I mean, they just don't. And I've studied leadership for 18 years. Actually took an emotional intelligence exam with 300 of the top sales managers across the country a number of years ago and scored #1 nationally. Wow. It's all about your people, and it's all about helping your people grow. Mm-hmm. But the story Jeremy was talking about is I had incredible wife. We had a hard time having children, and we finally did. We had twin boys born on Christmas Day in 2010, and my wife passed away a week later. Oh. So, it's been a journey. There's a major blessing there. My boys are absolutely incredible. But you talk about having to overcome fears. I don't really have fears, but that was a fearful year, right? That was a tough one. And but just believing and removing fears from everything that you do. In our market, a lot of people do know that story, but we believe so much in just overcoming that our people just. Like we have an agent right now that was at another agency that wasn't selling anything. You'll love this. No, she's been in the business for 2 years. Nobody ever told her she was in sales. She's been in real estate for 2 years. And this is her 3rd month with us, and she's going to sell 5 homes this month.
Really?
Month? No one ever told her she was in sales. This month.
Oh my God.
We had
she goes, oh my God, I'm in sales? Yeah.
Well, you guys were asking about the recruiting and stuff, a couple of times. There's a couple of people that came on in the beginning and were just like, well, these guys are both fathers. They got mouths to feed. They're not going to fail. We want to be with them. And you hear a story like Scott's, and like it's pretty rare. When you find somebody who's willing to talk about that kind of stuff and can overcome something like that, is inspiring. So I think that conveyed a lot.
I thought I had a powerful story, but geez, man, that's incredible. I mean, it drives you though. It puts a lot of things in perspective, and I think that when you can pick yourself up and dust yourself off from something that's devastating, no matter if it's your wife passing away unexpectedly, or maybe losing a job, or having someone take your money in an investment or something, but you're able to pick yourself up and move forward with it. People are attracted to that because they're like, oh my God, you're just like me. You've had problems. You're not some just glitz and glam, beautiful face on a camera somewhere on HGTV. You're real.
Oh yeah.
Well, we might be that too.
I never say, look.
Don't take away the glitz and glam. Yeah, just make sure there's a nice iceberg underneath the surface. Yeah.
Don't put us down.
Yeah. Great point, Jeremy. Oh, that's funny.
Just so I got slapped down right there. Oh.
All right, guys. So how do people connect with you, reach you, get into a relationship with you, especially whether they want to send you referrals or if they have someone to potentially nominate for your team there in Myrtle Beach? What's the best way to get in contact with you?
I'm married, so I don't know about get into relationship with, but you guys are welcome to send referrals or contact us about any business related matters. But yeah, I mean I'm Jeremy, Jeremy at the TrembleyGroup.com. Feel free, send us an email, send us a shout out. We'd love to help any clients that you have in the Myrtle Beach area, and of course, talk to anybody that's looking to get into this wonderful game of real estate.
Cool. And Scott, I'm curious, maybe a selfish question, but what's the next step for you guys? What's the next big push, especially for the rest of this year?
Oh gosh, we got a lot of things going on. One thing that's cool too is we're the #1 reviewed company on Zillow too, and within a short amount of time in our area, which is awesome. But we're working right now to expand a little bit in terms of some different zip codes and different markets with a different, just kind of bringing our whole model together in a virtual sort of way. And I'm kind of working on it right this minute. But the bottom line is our 450 number, we're going to exceed that pretty easily. I want to do 1,000 homes next year for sure. And it's just those next special people. I mean, our systems are so fine-tuned and it's such a well-oiled machine, and the culture and the mindset is so powerful that the success level that people could have with us is truly amazing. And so I look to, by the time, we're just in March right now, I'd like to have 24 to 30 team members by the end of the year that are really, really cranking out some business. But we're going to expand into some different markets really, really soon. And in the same sort of model that we have, just a little bit more virtually, and have some team leaders in each market. So we're pretty excited about it.
Yeah, there's an interview for you that would be helpful to you to check out. So we've done with my partnership with Jeff Cohn, we did the same thing. I just released an interview with our success manager Andy Cuney that does all the coaching of both the agents in the office and the expansion agents around the country, including our offices that we opened in San Diego, Boston, Salt Lake, all that stuff, which we, pulled back from some of that. And now we have virtual expansion, which you're talking about. We did a whole episode, an interview that just came out yesterday on the lessons that he's learned from doing that. And it's very interesting, the difference between trying to create a culture that is in person and take that culture virtual. It is definitely not an easy thing to do. And so, that'd be an interesting episode to check out. And I would love to hear more about how that goes for you guys, because I don't know that it's possible. To really reproduce that culture. It takes, I don't know if it's leadership, personality, whatever it is, somebody will crack the code on it, but I'm very interested in hearing what your guys' experience is on that as you expand. So you guys would be a great guest for that other show, the Team Building Podcast too, but check that out. So guys,
it sounds like a challenge there. Sounds like you just threw the glove down.
You did.
Yeah. So we have 15 agents in our flat rate expansion pilot program right now. So from all around the country, going through that program. So we'll see how it works. I've talked to a lot of people. Just did an episode with Pat Hyben the other day on expansion, and it is an interesting challenge, and it really comes down to that, right, guys? So you've built a culture that in person you're able to take people that will not behave like a salesperson and get them to behave like a salesperson. That is the challenge. If you can crack the code on how to do that virtually, you will be a multi-millionaire very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's check back in a year.
And it's not me throwing down the gauntlet. It's human nature that throws down the gauntlet, by the way, Jeremy.
Oh, no, that's
so it's not I'm not saying we've gotten there. I'm saying it's a very interesting challenge, and it's a big hill to climb.
It's a
here's one thing I just heard. Jeremy, I just got challenged, and I love it. It's game on now. I just had a conversation with a gentleman out of Florida that created a really, really cool virtual environment, and he's doing quite well with it. But my coach, I went to Tom Ferry organization too, and my coach, he keeps challenging me on that, because he's like, you guys are such scratching the surface. The talent level that you exude and bring is so you're just scratching the surface on what you can do, and he keeps challenging me to do it virtually. So I'm with you though. I mean, I'm definitely with you on. It's a different animal, but one that we're working towards for sure.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely stay in contact because I'm curious of your perspective on it and things that are working, not working. So we'll continue to mastermind on that. But all right, guys, we got to put a bow on this one. So for everyone that's watching, first of all, thank you for all. We didn't get a chance to really go into a lot of some of the questions, guys, that you were throwing out. We had a ton of people from South Carolina actually watching on the show. So we got, guys, we appreciate that. We appreciate all the comments. For me and Greg, we've got our next class starting on Monday. It's rockstarprospecting.com. So check that out. Greg, anything you want to say on that real quick before we wrap things up?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, you guys. If you guys are looking to sign up, please don't hesitate. If you don't make the cut, then you're going to be into the next month. You'll be into April. Nobody wants to be an April kid. We've gone over this before. Be the March kid. April kids hang out with Matt's kids, and we know how that works out, and they're waiting. So Matt was like, damn it, Greg. I do want to give a couple of shouts out really quickly. One, Tim Stafford, what up, player? Yeah, Matt and I need to get up with you and take a look at what you put together. But Big Mike Anthony, dude, I know you're here. Thank you beyond words for pushing us out to your 65 plus agents. I know a lot of them are following us. Dude, if we can do more for you guys, let's put together a strategy and see what we can do to help your group. And then to all of you guys that are, watching and listening right now, I had a gal that just hit me up. Cheryl Lynn, I am calling you out, girl. I will reach out to you. I will talk with you a little bit more, and I'll get you that information. So thanks for watching. We love you guys. We truly do. And if you want to learn more about what I do on my prospecting calls, sign up for the Rockstar Prospecting. Matt, put the link in there. We'll put the link in there again. We're going to go over so many nitty-gritty details. It's like watching a professional baseball player or football player play. You watch it in action, you're like, wow, that's really awesome. But if you try to recreate it without understanding the fundamentals, you're not going to be able to do it on a consistent basis because we're an inch wide, but we're a mile deep. You can't go a mile deep without jumping into the pool, guys. So jump in with us. Sign up. It's a lot of fun. Matt and I have a great time and the same kind of interaction that we have here, but we're going to be a one-on-one with you guys. So, yes, I am pushing this because, yes, I see it changing lives, and I want it to change your lives as well. So follow me on Facebook. Follow Matt on Facebook, guys, so you guys know when we go live doing our other shows. And reach out to us for messages or comments, or reach out to me. Don't reach out to Matt. Reach out to me. And we will do I'll answer questions for you like I was talking about with Cheryl Lynn. I'm going to reach out to her after the show, and we're going to get whatever she needs back over to her. So you guys, we love you. We are completely here to support you. We do this because we have a heart for the industry. We want to see you become utter rock stars. That's our
Scott, you mentioned the agents that are in there 1 to 3 years. I mean, we've got people that are reaching out that are watching before they even get their license, and hopefully avoiding some of the mistakes of agents that you've seen where they just fall flat the first couple of years in the business. They get a bad broker, they get a bad team leader, somebody doesn't give them the right advice. They have no idea they're in sales. I didn't know that was possible. Anyway. But yeah, we do have definitely a big heart for those people because those are the people that would unfortunately fail out of the business if they don't get the right help and they don't run across the right leadership and information. So, guys, thank you again so much, and let's take this baby home, Greg.
All right, guys, we love you. Peace out, ninjas.